Good morning, room 5. I am here. It's Wednesday, and we are continuing talking about spring and plants and flowers. And yesterday we read a book about, it was more about facts about flowers. And I have another book today that has some more interesting facts about plants. And so I wanted to continue on reading about that. And this book is called From Seed to Plant. And then I'm going to do an activity with you guys afterwards. So here we go. Most plants make seeds. A seed contains the beginning of a new plant. So on here you can see tomato, squash, violet, tulip, daisy, rose, sweet pea, buttercup, and corn. Seeds are different shapes, sizes, and colors. All seeds grow into the same kind of plant that made them. So if a apple seed comes from an apple, it's gonna grow an apple tree. It's not gonna grow a pear tree or a plum tree. It's gonna grow an apple tree. Many plants grow flowers. Flowers are where most seeds begin. A flower is made up of many parts. So here's a zinnia. Oh, here's our apple tree, a dandelion, an aster. And this is showing you all the different parts of, I'll show you these flowers first. And this is showing you all the different parts of the flower. So here is the petal. The petal is the big colorful part that you see all the time. And of course this is the stem, and that's what the flower grows on. And then, sorry I can't read backwards, let's see here. Here is the pistil, and the stigma is the sticky part at the top of the pistil. And these are the stamens. And stamens make yellow powder called pollen. And the parts of the flower around the pistil are those stamens. And then the little green, it almost looks like a leaf, a small leaf, is called the sepal. And then at the bottom of the pistil are tiny egg cells called ovules. All right. Before a seed can begin to grow, a grain of pollen from the stamen must land on the stigma at the top of the pistil of a flower like itself. This is called pollination. Pollination happens in different ways. Often, wind blows pollen from flower to flower. Bees, other insects, and hummingbirds help pollinate too. While they visit flowers for their sweet juice called nectar, pollen rubs onto their bodies. Then they carry the pollen to another flower where it comes off onto its pistil. If a pollen grain from a flower lands on the pistil of the same kind of flower, it grows a long tube through the pistil into an ovule. This is the beginning of a seed. The seeds grow inside the flower, even as the flower begins to die. As the seeds become bigger, a fruit or pod grows around them. The fruit or pod protects the seed. When the fruit or pod ripens, it breaks open. The seeds are ready to become new plants. Some seeds fall to the ground around the base of the plant where they will grow. Some pods or fruits open and the seeds pop out. Sometimes when birds eat berries, they drop the seeds. Other seeds fall into streams, ponds, rivers, or the ocean. There they travel on the water until they stick to dirt along a shore. The wind scatters seeds. Some seeds have fluff on them that lets them float to the ground like tiny parachutes. Others have wings that spin as they fall. Animals help scatter seeds too. They hide acorns and nuts in the ground. Some seeds have hooks that stick to the fur of animals or people's clothes. Later they drop off onto the ground. A flower bed or vegetable garden is beautiful. Seeds are planted to grow in the gardens. The seeds come in small envelopes or boxes. Directions explain how to plant the seeds and care for the plants. The beginning of a plant is curled up inside each seed. Food is stored inside the seed too. The seed has a seed coat on the outside to protect it. Here's the seed coat. And there's already the beginning of a plant inside the seed. A seed will not sprout until certain things happen. First, it must be on or in the soil. Then it needs rain to soak the seed and soften its seed coat. When the sun shines and warms the ground, the seed coat breaks open and the seed begins to grow. This is called germination. A root grows down into the soil. The root takes in water and minerals from the soil for food. Up grows a shoot. Green leaves grow up from the shoot towards the sun. The plant grows bigger and bigger. The leaves make food for the plant from the water and minerals in the soil, the sunlight and the air all around the plant. Finally, the plant is full grown. Buds on the plant open into flowers where new seeds will grow. Many of the foods people eat are seeds, fruits, and pods. They are full of nutrition, vitamins, and minerals, and they are tasty too. And this just shows you how you can plant a seed. So it goes through the steps of how you can plant the seeds, what you need to do to take care of them, and how they will grow. The end. So before we go on to our activity, I want you to tell your mom or your dad or your big sister or your big brother or an adult that is there at your house, and I want you to share with them 2 things that you learned from the book, From Seed to Plant. Something about seeds or plants or how they grow. I want you to share 2 things that you learned. And then we'll go on to our activity. So put your thinking cap on and think about what you just heard me read. What is something that you learned? What was something you didn't know before I read this book that now you know about seeds or plants? So put that thinking cap on. What did you learn? Tell mom or dad or big sister or big brother what you learned. Brody wanted to share, but I didn't want him to give you guys any hints. Okay, so now that you guys have shared 2 things with your parent or your brother or your sister, we are going to make a flower. And the purpose of this activity, the reason that we're going to do this activity, is a couple different reasons. We are going to be using scissors to cut, and that's going to help our fine motor development. And then we are going to be counting things, and then we are going to be writing our name. And so that's going to help us remember how to spell our name and how to write all the letters in our names. And then we're going to make a flower because we've been learning about flowers. So what you guys are going to need for this activity is some different construction paper. I would suggest green for the stem, but if you want your stem to be a different color, feel free to make it a different color. I'm going to use green. And then you're going to need a color for your flower. So what color do you want your flower to be? There's so many different colors of flowers. There's yellow and purple and orange and there's even green, pink, blue, white. So whatever color flower you want to make, I'm going to make mine kind of a pinky purple color, like a fuchsia color. And then you're going to need either yellow or orange for the middle of your flower, because most of the time the center part, which is that, let's see, where's my, that stigma area where all the pollen is yellow and orange, and so that's where you get that color from. I'm going to use yellow for the center of mine. So you're going to need a few pieces of construction paper. You're going to need some scissors. I have adult scissors, but if you have kid scissors, you should probably use those. They're a little easier for your hands. And then either glue or tape. I have tape. So the first thing, and you are going to need mom and dad's help for this activity. So the first thing that mom or dad is going to do is they're going to ask you if you know how many letters are in your name. Can you count how many letters are in your name? For this activity, I'm going to use Brody's name. So I'm going to spell Brody's name using my fingers. And I'm going to say B-R-O-D-Y. How many letters is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 letters. So you need to count your name and the letters in your name and figure out how many letters you have in your name. Once you've done that, mom or dad, you're going to need a pen or a marker. Mom or dad are going to draw a line. Oops, Miss Kate's table is kind of bumpy, so it's hard to get a straight line. A line down your paper. And then they're going to make squares for each letter. So since Brody has 5 letters in his name, I'm going to make 5 squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you are going to write your name. 1 letter in each square. B-R-O-D-Y. So I'm going to write Brody's name in the squares. I now have Brody's name written in the squares. you will do your name. So Karsten, Harper, Layla, Oslin, Declan, Easton, all those names. You're going to write your name. So you need to figure out how many squares you need. And then in each square, you put a letter. Now, you have to cut the squares out. So you are going to cut on this line and then on all of these lines. So each letter ends up being its own square. Like, oh, Miss Kate forgot to bring them over here. Like this. So you're going to have squares now with all your letters on them. Now what you're going to do is you're going to have Mom or Dad draw a circle on your yellow paper. That will be the center part of your flower. If you can cut this circle out, that's great. But if you need Mom or Dad's help, they can help you cut out the circle if you're having a hard time. So you're going to cut out your circle. Then there's multiple ways that you can make a flower. You can draw a flower and then cut it out. You can make lots of circles and then cut those circles out and use those for your petals. However, Mom or Dad thinks that it's going to be easiest for you. For me, I like to draw the whole flower and then I'm going to cut it out. So I draw a big flower like that and then I cut it out. So now you should have your squares with your letters on it. You should have your circle for your centerpiece of your flower cut out. And you should have your flower. And now we're going to put it together. So you're going to tape your letters all together in the right order. So for me, the first letter I need is a B. And then I need the R. And then I need the O. And the D and the Y. So I put them all together and I can either tape them or glue them. Then I'm going to take the center of my flower and I'm going to glue that or tape that into the middle of my cutout flower. And then I will put the flower at the top of my stem and I will end up with a flower. This is the one Brody made earlier. You can see his name. He wrote it. B-R-O-D-Y. And he cut out the center part of the flower. And I drew a flower for him and he cut the flower out. And so now you have a flower on a stem. Don't climb up there, buddy. You can make a leaf if you want to have a leaf on the side out of your extra green paper. And put the leaf on there as well. Nope, don't get up there, I'll leave it. And so there is your name on your flower. You can put it up somewhere.
Like there.
Yeah, like right there.
I can tape,
Oh,
I need that
I've got a push pin, so I will put it up. Right there. All right. So that is your flower that you're going to make. If you want to send me pictures, I'd love to see them. And I hope you enjoyed the book. I hope you learned lots of new stuff about flowers. And I hope you have fun making your flower and writing your name. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow. Sending my love.